This YCN segment is brought to you by Echo Communications, a digitally integrated commercial printer.
Welcome back, YCN Sports Talk. Jeremy Stout, Dustin Ribellini. One final segment. We move over to some college basketball, some local New Hampshire, Vermont. First, we'll start with UVM as they continue to roll in the America East. Nobody's stopping them.
Yeah, they've won, I think, now 30 straight America East regular season games dating back to last season. Undefeated in conference again. I think if they win tomorrow night against New Hampshire, they can clinch the #1 seed going into the conference tournament. Yeah, playing good basketball up in Vermont. To do what they've done is something that we don't really see a lot in college basketball. To possibly go undefeated in conference 2 years in a row, and we saw earlier this year at Dartmouth how good that team is. That's impressive. Yeah,
they are a good team. They should be able to get the #1 seed, as you said, make the tournament, and we'll see what happens. They've obviously, as we all know, pulled some upsets in the NCAA tournament. Another team locally, Dartmouth, as you mentioned, the men's team struggling this year. They get their first win this weekend. They've been in a lot of close games. Finally pulling one out. Got to at least be positive, moving forward for this Dartmouth team.
Yeah, for the rough hand that they were dealt at the beginning of the year, losing your two best players, to be competitive in all these games. They've had a chance to win virtually every Ivy League game. They just couldn't close it out. We even saw Friday against Penn. They were up 4 with 4 minutes to go and just struggled down the stretch. But finally, to get that win, that's a big confidence booster. Sure, maybe they're not going to make the Ivy League tournament this year, but when you learn how to win ball games, that goes a long way, not only this year, but down the road.
And finally, the Dartmouth women's team having a strong non-conference schedule to start the season, then starting the regular season conference play with 4 wins. Struggled last weekend. Big game against Yale this week. Basically, that's the team they can catch if they win. If they lose, they're probably eliminated.
Yeah, it's Dartmouth and Yale for that 4 spot. Yale there right now. They beat Dartmouth at Dartmouth earlier this season, so to have any chance, they need to beat Yale this weekend and probably Brown on the road as well. Good start to the year, 4-2 in conference play, but then a kind of reality check last week at Penn and Princeton. If the Dartmouth women want to make the Ivy League tournament, they must beat Yale this weekend.
So some big games for both Dartmouth men and women this upcoming weekend.
It's time for the Salt Hill Pub Picks of the Week. Salt Hill Pub, honest food, perfect pints, live music, now here to serve you in 5 locations.
All right, here we are with our picks of the week. We have a combination of some NBA and some college basketball. So, Dustin, as we talked about, Clippers Celtics, the final game before the All-Star break at home in Boston. Who you got in this one?
The Celtics haven't been playing good, as we know. The Clippers have actually playing some decent ball since the Blake Griffin trade. Again, sometimes a trade changes some teams around. But I think tonight you're going to see the Celtics play. It's their last game for almost a week.
Right.
They're going to play a good game tonight, get that confidence win going into the second half, and kind of get things rolling here down the stretch.
Yeah, I agree with you. They played Sunday. They had a big game. It was nationally televised with the Paul Pierce thing. They've had a couple days to digest it, and it's that final game. They're going to get it right. I picked the Celtics as well. Moving to the West Coast, Golden State Warriors at the Portland Trail Blazers. Warriors have struggled as of late. Got a big win the other day, but this game, sometimes it's tough to play in Portland, but what do you think on this one?
Yeah, the Trailblazers have been playing well, too. Damian Lillard and C.J. McCollum each had 50 points within like 5 days of each other. But in the end, the Warriors have too much firepower. They realize they get up for these games against teams that are kind of like them. The Trailblazers are kind of like the Warriors, not quite as with much firepower.
Right.
But I think the Warriors will pull this one out.
Yeah, I agree with you. Sometimes those teams hit a little bit of a slump in the middle of the season, struggling a few games here and there. But the Warriors overall, they're a good team. They'll get the win. Moving over to the college basketball side, a team that you're familiar with, the Duke Blue Devils hosting Virginia Tech. I know this might not be that quintessential rivalry battle, especially this year, but Duke, Virginia Tech, who you got there?
Yeah, that should be a good game. Duke's been up and down all season. We saw them lose 3 of 4 games in a row recently. Virginia Tech Saturday just beat the now #1 team, Virginia. But in college, it's hard for teams to get 2 good games in a row, especially when you pull off a huge upset. I can't see them going to Duke and getting another big win.
Well, right. I see it's these young kids, and you're right, a big upset. It's kind of
especially your rival.
Right, that letdown game. And Duke at Cameron Indoor, I know they have lost some games recently, but they're pretty good at home. I agree with you there. I take the Blue Devils. Moving over to a game that's a surprise to a lot of people in the SEC to figure out which team's favored, Kentucky and Auburn, a different set this year.
Yeah, if this was football and you saw the number 10 team Auburn, you'd say, okay, that's fine. But this is basketball. Unranked Kentucky lost 3 in a row for the first time under John Calipari, which means they probably never lost 4 in a row, but they're about to. Auburn wins tonight.
Yeah, I agree with you there. I do think Auburn gets the win. It is a strange season in the SEC with Kentucky struggling, Auburn so good. It'll be interesting to see if Kentucky, we've seen them struggle before and then come along late in the second half and then in the tournament. But I don't know about this team. That's the problem with a lot of one-and-dones. You got a young team. You got to retrain them every year. So I go with Auburn as well. A game on Thursday night out west, Arizona, Arizona State. Both teams ranked. Should be a good one.
Should be a very good one. Both these teams playing good basketball right now. We saw Arizona ranked as high as number 2 in the preseason and then kind of struggled for the first part, but now they're playing really well. I think Arizona gets the win again.
All right, I think it's going to be a great game. I might disagree with you. I go Arizona State, but I think it's a toss-up game at this point. Both these teams ranked, and it's always exciting. That's a big-time rivalry game right there. So there are our Salt Hill Pub picks of the week. Don't forget, you can check our website, ycnnow.com, and check out the listings and watch old shows. Thanks, Dustin, for coming in.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for watching. Have a great night.